Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Gabauer, Superintendent of Mount Pleasant Area School District. Joining me today are Jamie Barron, General Manager from DMJ Transportation, and Ray Sassong, Terminal Manager at DMJ Transportation. And we communicate all year long for a variety of topics. I know this time of year, folks don't see what's happening, but boy, it's busy. There's a lot taking place. And so as we move into the new school year, can you speak to what a summer looks like from the transportation end? And I know especially over the next week or two, it really ramps up, but what does summer look like for you?
Yeah, so typically in the summer, it's spent preparing the buses to undergo state police inspections. We review our operations, what worked well last year, what didn't work well, and then we prepare the drivers and get them in and trained on their routes.
Yeah, good deal. Now, when you talk about the routes, it's a 106 square mile district, it's big. So, and I know routes change throughout the year. What all goes into developing bus routes and stop times for your logistics experts? What's it look like?
So our routing specialist uses our award-winning software to initially create the routes. Then they'll use their expert knowledge of the area to go in and make sure the most efficient and time-friendly way is being taken, detours or anything that could be avoided. And then once they are all done and created, the drivers will go do a dry run and make sure there's no issues or any delays that we might run into.
Excellent. And I know that's from the very beginning when we got together from the very beginning, we were always looking at time frames and how to keep everything within time frames. And we thank you for having done that, because we do have some longer runs. And I hear other districts where there might be an hour and 15-minute runs. We have nothing in that. We might be 45 minutes, might be the longest one, and that's a rarity. Most of ours are much shorter. So
yeah, we appreciate
we
that.
thank you. And one thing that's been hampering not only us here, but anybody that's watching around town has been all the construction, detours and what have you, as they put in the various roundabouts and the roadways change. What does that look like from your end? And then how, if you ever have to make an adjustment or a detour or change something on a bus, do you notify families? How does that happen?
Yeah, so the construction's been exciting, I guess would be the word, when it comes to the routing. We're always in contact with the actual construction company as to road closures, restrictions, lane restrictions. So if that should, and if it ever happens, we will contact all the families on that particular route.
Gotcha.
We'll, change that.
Yeah, and we stay in touch as well with Walsh Construction and the
Sure.
Department of Transportation, trying to figure out what's happening and why. And it's a tall task for them. So they've been very helpful. And I know when it shut down at the end of the school year and rerouted, and we just talked like a week ago.
Yep.
Like, boy, is this going to be ready in time? And next thing you know, the roundabout opened down here, which is helpful.
Yep.
So I know they're doing electrical work and some other things, but it's functional. And your buses have been able to navigate and practicing over the summer and what have you. So hope we're out of the woods for the most part.
The most of it, the bulk of it.
Yeah, the bulk of it. Because boy, the changes you've had to make over the last 2 years have been really, it's been something.
Yeah, and you know what? And all the parents and the guardians they've been awesome. On the routes that were even closed last year, they understood the delays.
Excellent.
And if we have to get into that where there's maybe a 5 or 10 minute delay, they were awesome through the whole thing.
Stoplight put up here and it disappears, and the next day it's somewhere else. Yeah,
there was some challenges, but we got through it.
So one of the important things is, of course, is safety. I mean, everything we do here, you see the bollards going up around campus, about 90 of them going around all of our district buildings, and trimming of trees and bushes to create, safer zones. I mean, a lot happening. And your buses, I know, are equipped with several safety features. Can you speak to some of the safety features that are on your buses for our families?
Yeah, so one of our main features is Samsara. That's our GPS tracking technology. So at any point I can pull up a bus and see where it's located, how fast it's going. I can see the vehicle diagnostics, if it has a low battery, the fuel's low, and that gives us real time where it is at all times, so your students never really out of our sights. We also do have cameras in all the buses. Each bus has at least 4 cameras in it, which allow us to always have eyes inside the vehicles. If anything ever does happen, it's extremely easy to pull that camera card, review the incident, and forward it over to the school if we needed to.
Sure.
And our last piece are the two-way radios, so that allows for easy communication between dispatch and the drivers when they're out on the road.
Sure, yeah, and I know what, 4 cameras on the bigger buses, and some of the smaller ones, I think the least you have is 2 for some of the real small buses.
Yeah,
but
minimal too.
and you're right, it's very helpful, because things, unfortunately, from time to time, things happen.
Things
happen, and
Sure.
for us to be able to look at it from our end and help make determinations, and do what we have to do with bus runs and corrective behaviors and everything, I think it is extremely important. So we thank you for that. And part of that, you talked about the GPS system, is the Stop Finder app.
Yes.
And I know that ties into our technology department, and we're heavily involved in that on our end. But can you speak a little bit about the Stop Finder app, what that does, and how that can be beneficial to the families?
Yeah, so the Stop Finder app shows the location of your bus. There sometimes is a little lag window depending on how it syncs up, but it has been an extremely beneficial resource for the community, especially with the upcoming construction. We will be ready to send out those parent registration links within the next few days.
Awesome, and that's for those of you that don't know, yeah, it's just one where you can follow your child's bus. You know where it's at in real time. And I think you actually can set up alerts. There's like a geofence area where if it's within 5 minutes or something, it'll notify you it's within 5 minutes of your stop and what have you. So very beneficial. Yeah, it was new last year, so it had its bumps. And thankfully, we have some folks that are on our board of directors that actually have students in the district, and they were able to give us feedback. That's very useful. Like, hey, what's happening here? And we were getting feedback, the good, bad, and the ugly. And now it really seems to be working out very, very well.
The alerts are awesome. They really come in handy with that, parents.
So yeah, if you have not downloaded, Stop Finder, and it's something that would be beneficial to you, I would highly suggest doing so. You can then follow your traffic. Sometimes there's a delay coming out of school, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and it does not land exactly within that minute when it's supposed to.
Correct.
So it's helpful.
Sure.
Especially with the construction things happening. Yeah, we just don't know. So.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that's happening just about everywhere you hear is shortages for employment just in general, but there's a lot about driver shortages. We've been very fortunate over the last couple of years, and you've been able to keep the drivers, fully loaded with your buses.
Yep.
Can you speak to where you're at with your drivers for this particular year?
Yeah, so we're confident with our staffing for the upcoming year. Each bus does have its own dedicated driver. They drive that every day, and we also have 6 additional spare drivers that are around any given day in case someone calls off or we have a last minute trip we need to accommodate. We also did just host a CDL class where we certified 5 new applicants. So we're excited to get them out and on the road and get the school year started.
Fantastic. And I would assume that on your website there's ways for anybody that might want to be interested in being a substitute driver, getting involved to check and.
Yes, there's a spot on our webpage where you can go to contact us, and it allows you to input your information. So we're able to reach out to you and obtain a little more about what you're interested, where you're located, and what you're looking for.
Excellent. That's good. Because we've been doing the same with whether it's a substitute teacher, or substitute aides, or aides in the classrooms, whether it's somebody with Nutrition Incorporated, whatever it is, we're just looking for help. We're all looking for help to help our kids get to and from and have a great experience while they're here.
That's the goal. That's it.
And lastly, I know each year one of the biggest traditions, I shouldn't say one of the biggest, but a big tradition here in Mount Pleasant area is having the Welcome Back Nights. We have them at our elementary schools, we have them at the high schools, junior, senior high. And you're a part of Welcome Back Nights, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, we're excited to be there and get a little face-to-face action with the parents and community.
Good. So when you go to the schools, whatever school you're going to, you'll see something set up from DMJ Transportation, be able to get some helpful information. I believe the routes are getting released here very shortly, correct? And that is what?
We're working on
Friday,
this.
the 18th.
Friday the
Friday
18th. So thank you for your patience. We know everybody wants to know, but there are so many changes and little nuances that you don't want to get out too early, and then somebody's just changed. You try to minimize it.
Correct.
And the 18th helps us minimize those changes.
Yes.
So, well, thank you to Ray and Jamie for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we're excited about the upcoming year, and we appreciate the partnership, and wish you a
Absolutely.
great year. And
Absolutely.
thank you. Nice working with you once again.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us, folks.